Hi USBGF fans, Phil Simborg, your USBGF teaching pro with a tip on how to use Extreme Gammon and learn from Extreme Gammon. This happens to be the very best software by far. Everyone who knows backgammon is using this, but nobody is really using it the way they can or should. There's so much you can do to help you learn the game. Take this position for example. Blue, this happened to me at the tournament this last weekend in Cleveland. Blue doubled red. Should red take or drop? Forget about the score. I'm using this as a money game so we don't have complications of the score, because the score was pretty much like a money game. So if you were red, would you take or drop this cube? Well, the answer is you should drop, but I thought it might be a take. I could see the problems here for red to take this cube. The biggest problem I can tell from, well, I got red on roll. Let's put blue on roll, and you'll see that it's a drop. The biggest problem is red's timing. Red probably needs to be down, actually in a position like this, you'd like to be down 100 pips. He's only down 57 pips. But he'd like to be down a lot more pips. Why? So by the time blue brings his checkers around and gives red his shot or his double shot, red still wants to be able to have a good board. And what could happen here very easily is that red will crash his board. Now, I have a couple years experience playing backgammon, and I can see right away what the problem is here. But I really thought there might be enough timing here for red to bounce a checker out of here, or blue might roll some high numbers, and maybe it is enough to take. It's not a horrible mistake to take, but it sort of surprised me that it was a drop. I thought this might be a take, and I really want to understand how it plays out. Well, if you haven't got 55 years of experience and can't instantly see that the problem here might be timing and why timing might work, you might want to get a little bit more information. You could press this button right here, which gives you a lot more information. It rolls it out 1,000 times or 10,000 times or whatever you want, but all that's really going to do is going to improve these numbers. It's going to make these numbers a little bit more accurate. It still doesn't really show you why this is a drop, why he gets gammon too much, or why he doesn't win the game enough to take it. It's a combination of those two reasons that makes it a drop. Well, the best way to find out why is to play it out and see what happens. But there's a problem with that. If you play red, you might not play right, and you'll lose a lot more than a really top player or the computer would lose. The computer figures out that red can win this about 30% of the time, but he's assuming red's playing properly. Well, you're not going to play as good as the computer. My good friend and teaching partner Stick, who just won the tournament this weekend, congratulations, by the way, his first tournament ever. We can no longer say he's the best player in the world that hasn't won a tournament. Now he's just another good player who's won tournaments like anybody else who's a good player. Poor Stick. I feel sorry for him for winning. Anyway, Stick doesn't play perfect. He has a PR rating that's around a little over 2, between 2 and 3. So he's making mistakes. And I guarantee you most of us are going to make a lot more mistakes. So I've got a better idea. Let's invite the best player in the world to play for red. And the same for blue. If we have a bad player playing for blue, somebody horrible like me, who's not going to make the right play every time, then red's going to win too much. I want to see why this plays out when played by really great players, how it plays right. So let me invite the two best players in the world into my house right now. And their names are Mr. Extreme Gammon and Mr. Extreme Gammon. You got it. Extreme Gammon plays better than anyone in the world, and there's plenty of people willing to bet on it if anybody doubts that. So let's pretend that blue doubles red and red takes the cube, and now blue is on roll. So let's give blue a number, a roll. Let's say whatever pops up. Which one? Oh, double one. That's a fun one to pop up. Gee, this is fun. How would I play double one if I was red? Well, let's see. I can play 8-7 with 2. And I can play 9-8 with 2 and have a nice prime. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in a row. Wow. No, that's only 5 in a row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I end up with a blot on my 9 point. If he rolls a 6, he can hit it. Be my guest. If you want to come off of this point and hit me with a 6, yum. Food. I may go after this guy if he doesn't get covered. It's going to hurt his timing. He's giving up the 3 point, which he needs. He might not even hit me if he's lucky enough to roll a 6. He might even be praying he doesn't roll a 6. That's my play. I'm going to move 2 checkers from 9 to 7. But let's not rely on Phil Simborg. Let's talk to Mr. Extreme Gammon. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to hit Control C. That copies this position so that if I want to play it out 9 or 10 times, which is really what I want to do, because one time doesn't tell you anything. It just tells you what happens the one time. It gives you a feel for what could happen. But, red could roll double six in the next roll, and or 1-6, which would be a perfect roll after double ones, and it skews the results. So I need to play it out a few times to see really how it plays out, and I'll understand what's going on in this game and why it's not a take. How do I play it out? Well, the first thing I did was I changed my settings so that it plays fast. I don't want to sit here and take forever to play it out 10 times. I go to Options, Board Configuration, Animations, and I set these numbers down around 60, and it plays very, very fast. If I want it to play slow, I'll set it at 100 or over 100 for each of these numbers. So I've got it set very fast. Let's go to Setup, Play from Position, and let's invite Mr. Extreme Gammon to play Mr. Extreme Gammon. Extreme Gammon's going to be the bottom player and the top player. Sit back and have fun. Boom. Go. Hey, he made my play with the double ones. I'm not so stupid after all. What's going on here? Well, blue rolled pretty small. That's terrible. I can see why he's got timing problems now. Even though blue's not rolling really small, he's got to hit him now. He's got no choice. Oops. Well, no matter what happens from here, I'm not sure I like red's game at all. Wouldn't you be happy being blue in this position? Wouldn't you be very, very sorry you took the cube already? So I think I've learned something right now. Wow, that was quite a play with double sixes. Did you see that? Blue slotted both points. He's trying to get here. He didn't break his prime just now, and he could have to make the 3-point. He didn't do that. Wow, I'm learning a lot just by watching these plays, and I can go back and click on any one of those plays and watch it. But I'm not going to do that right now because I don't want to disturb the flow of the game. I want you to see how this plays out. Because I can always go back. That's one of the nice things about watching it. In addition to learning about why this cube was a drop, I can look at each individual play and see how the best players in the world would play each play and compare that with how I would have played each play. Alright, I think I've seen enough. I see why red has a lousy game here. I don't care what happens from here. I think red's chances are pretty horrible. But let's see. I'm going to keep watching. I can stop and go back, and I want to see how this double one play moved. I'll just click on it and look at it. Okay. By the way, at this point in the game that we're looking at right here, blue's 85%, and he's going to win gammons 35% of the time. Whew! Wish I wouldn't take a cube like this. I hope I would never be that dumb. Anyhow, let's say I'm tired of this. I got the feel for why red should drop now. I'm going to start again. I hit Control V. I don't want to save this. There's your starting position all over again. That's boring. I don't want to start with double ones. Let's give how good a roll is double one. Analyze, dice distribution. I bet you it's one of his best rolls. Double one's the second best roll that he could have. 3-2 would be his best roll of just making the bar. So that's a pretty big edge for blue. Maybe that's why it was such a crushing situation that he rolled such a great roll. Let's give him a slightly worse than average roll, a 4-2. See, gives him a little negative equity because it's in red. So let's start all over, and let's give blue a 4-2. And let's see how he wins the game now. Let's see with a little bit less than average roll if red's got a chance. Set up, play from position. Mr. Extreme Gammon against Mr. Extreme Gammon, and go. Wow. Look at how he played 4-2. Gave an immediate shot. He doesn't care about getting hit. I guess he's more concerned with destroying timing. Look at this. Red got out of the back game. He's going forward with this game maybe. Let's see what happens. This is an entirely new thing now. This ain't no 2-3 back game anymore. We're not in Kansas anymore. Interesting. Ah, danced. How much do you like red's game now? Would you still? Are you happy you're blue? Are you happy you doubled? I'd still like to be blue now. Red's got some action here though. Although he hasn't got much of a game left if blue can point on the 2-point. Oops, there it is. There were a lot of numbers that did that. Don't think blue was lucky to roll a 3-2. If you add up all the numbers he had that made the 2-point, it was pretty huge. That wasn't just some wild lucky guess I made. But red still got a good chance to get a shot. If he gets the shot, is he going to win? Maybe. We'll see. Ah, good roll for red. He gets to hold everything. Good roll for blue. If blue doesn't roll a 1 or a 5 now. Whoops. Speak of the devils. This is exciting. Oops, there's a great roll for blue. Didn't roll a 1 or a 5. Okay, I can see why this is a drop now. I sure wouldn't want to be red. What's red's equity here? Let's look at the last roll. And you can see red wins this game 9% of the time. That's it. Okay, so 2 games I played out, and I'm getting to see why this isn't such a hot take and that extreme gammon is right. I can do this for the rest of the night, and I can go back and look at any play I really don't understand. For example, let's take a look at that very first 4-2 roll. Oops, it started another game on me, but let's go back to the previous game. Let's look at the first 4-2 roll. How many of you would have played this way? 10-6, 9-7. That's quite a play. Let's take a look at the move. Well, 13-7 is very, very close. Probably have to roll this out to get a better feel for it, but I can go through every play now in slow motion and see how to learn the game. So you've got a great tool here. Use it. You don't have to guess why it answers something. If you don't know why, if you can't readily see that it's right to take or right to drop or right to play a checker this way, try playing it out a few times. You'll get a lot of insights. You got the best teacher in the world right there. Hope this helps you. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned and stay loyal to the USBGF. Please join if you haven't joined. We need your support. We're the organization that's really helping to grow and promote backgammon throughout the world. Thanks. Bye-bye.